Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Veteran Mountain Man coming to you today. And today we're going to talk a little bit about political systems. Specifically, there's this idea going around on the internet called alternative voting, or also known as instant runoff voting. Now, I've got a link to a YouTube video below which describes it from an individual content provider. The content provider's name is CGP Grey, and his video actually ended up on Minds.com, where I was discussing centrism as a political methodology and why it wouldn't work. Now, the video is only 4 minutes long, so I would recommend that you watch it and then come back and listen to this. But what he's recommending is to eliminate single selection voting and use the instant runoff voting system because it removes the spoiler effect. Now, the spoiler effect is when a new party gets introduced late on the ballot, right before the general election, and that person peels off votes from one of the major parties, causing that major party to lose. Now, it happens. It sucks, but realistically, if you're relying on party allegiance to carry a vote, then perhaps you need to reevaluate the political candidate you're putting forward, or maybe your party's message. That being said, this is from an American perspective, and here in America, we do not need to form a government like many of the parliaments do. So this may or may not give you some indication as to what Americans think about this system. Now, one of the things he's promoting the idea of instant runoff voting. He shows a list of problems that he says both of them have and both of them will not eliminate. But he does specifically state that instant runoff voting will eliminate the spoiler effect. But the one he misses is that instant runoff voting disincentivizes first vote major party. And that is, if you vote for a major party as the number one on your ballot, you get one vote. If you vote for some sort of fringe party that might get at most 5% of the population vote ever, and then you vote for a second party, and then a third party, and that third party is your major party, well, then you have effectively voted 3 times in one election. And I'm going to give you a very simple case to follow here as to why I claim this is a problem. So we're going to use 5 parties. We're going to have Big Party 1, Big Party 2. Then we're going to have little parties 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to talk about 2 citizens of this fictitious country. Those citizens are Bob and John. Now, Bob is a big fan of Big Party 1, and he votes for Big Party 1 most of the time. He agrees with most of the party's stances. He likes most of their candidates. On occasion, he votes for Little Party 3 because he likes the way they think as well, because they're very similar. There's just some differences. But mostly, he votes for Big Party 1. Now, John, his neighbor, on the other hand, is a member of Little Party 2. He campaigns for Little Party 2, and he even ran for a local position as a Little Party 2 member. So, their voting methodology uses instant runoff voting. An election comes up, and the TV carries the big parties debating, and very little about the little parties, as you would expect the mainstream media to do. Well, Bob goes to the poll, and he marks his ballot as follows. Big Party 1, number 1. Little Party 3, number 2, nothing else. He doesn't like Little Party 1, doesn't like Little Party 2, doesn't like Big Party 2. Now, John goes to the polls, and his ballot looks like this. Little Party 2, Little Party 1, Big Party 2. And now, under an instant runoff voting system, these are perfectly valid ballots. Now, let's look at the percentage score after the initial tally. After the initial tally, we've got Big Party 1 at 35%, Big Party 2 at 30%, Little Party 1 at 13%, Little Party 2 at 5%, Little Party 3 at 17%. Well, look at there. John's first vote was for Little Party 2, and they only got 5%. Now, Bob's vote for Big Party 1, they got a whopping 35%. So now, John's vote now goes to Little Party 1 as well, because Little Party 2 cannot win with 5%, and therefore is out of the race. That doesn't mean that John's vote goes with Little Party 2 where it initially started. It now gets transferred to Little Party 1, while Bob's vote stays at Big Party 1. So, John effectively got 2 votes to Bob's 1 effective vote. Now, when we look at the new tallies, we now have Big Party 1 at 35%, Big Party 2 at 30%, Little Party 1 at 18%, and Little Party 3 at 17%. Now, Little Party 1 is still not going to win. And so that effective set of voting now gets transferred to John's Big Party 2. That's right. So now Big Party 2 is going to be at 48%, Big Party 1 35%, and Little Party 3 17%. Now, if Little Party 3 ends up folding into Big Party 1, Big Party 1 ends up winning, and Bob gets who he wanted. But John got to vote for 3 separate candidates, even though none of his candidates won. His vote got counted 3 effective times. Bob's only got counted once. So realistically, in any kind of representative republic or democracy, when coming to a general electoral vote of either a representative or an executive or whatnot, this kind of system actually promotes fringe parties and actually creates excessive voting and gives individuals more representation than others. Because in this case, John got to effectively vote 3 times, and Bob effectively voted once. Even though Bob won, Bob effectively voted once. And that means that they did not get equal representation under their vote. So, for those of you who were able to follow that, thank you very much. I know this was kind of esoteric and deep. It's something, though, that we need to think about because I continue to hear pushes to change election systems, even here in the United States. And we need to be wary of some of these fallacies and falsehoods that get put forward by these systems, trying to create other alternatives to how we currently do it. Just because you don't like the way we do it doesn't mean that the alternative is better. It just means the alternative is different. And believe it or not, many of these alternatives were around when the systems that we currently live under were created. They're not new ideas. They've been around for a while. Well, thank you very much for joining me. If you're listening to me on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you are following me on VidMe, then follow and upvote. Once again, you can always leave a comment below. I am more than happy to answer questions. I will, once again, be including a link down below to the original content from CGP Grey, because he's got quite a few of these about how political systems work, and I might even respond to a few more of these. He uses animal kingdom representations to make it easier for kids to understand. However, he also has a very much liberal agenda in how he's presenting most of this. Also, don't forget to join me over at minds.com/veteran mountain man. That's VETERANMOUNTIANMAN. And you can join me there in general discourse. I debate regularly Also, don't forget to visit me at Patreon/Veteran Mountain Man. You can become a subscriber, get some live streaming capability there, get some interactive voting in some of the content I make, so on and so forth. It's only $1 a month. Thank you all again, and have yourselves a great day.